When people say family is forever, they rarely mention that forever can feel like a prison sentence you never asked for. My name is Marissa Dalton, and for 28 years, I've been the invisible daughter. The one who got good grades but never got the celebration. The one who helped mom with groceries while my younger sister Chloe got her nails done. The responsible one, the boring one, the one nobody worried about because I always figured things out. Chloe was different. Blonde hair that caught the light just right, a laugh that made everyone turn around, and this gift for making people feel like they were the most important person in the room. When Chloe wanted something, the universe bent itself backward to deliver. I learned early that crying didn't get me anywhere. When I cried, Mom would sigh and say, "Don't take things so personally, Marissa." When Chloe cried, Dad would move mountains. So I stopped crying. I became a social worker instead, spent my days helping other people set boundaries I could never set for myself. The irony wasn't lost on me. Then came the group text. I was at my desk, finishing paperwork for a client when my phone buzzed. Family group chat. 37 messages I'd somehow missed. I scrolled up. Mom. "Everyone, Chloe has big news." Dad. "So proud of our girl." Aunt Linda. "Finally. Congratulations, sweetheart." Cousin Jessica. "OMG the ring." My stomach dropped before my brain caught up. I kept scrolling. There it was, a photo of Chloe's hand, a massive diamond catching the restaurant lighting. Ryan's arm around her shoulders, both of them glowing. They were engaged, and I was the last to know. Not a phone call, not even a private text. I found out the same way our second cousins did, in a group announcement where my congratulations would be buried under 50 others. I typed, "Congratulations, Chloe and Ryan. So happy for you both." But my hands were shaking, because 6 months earlier I'd met Ryan Faulkner at a family barbecue, and something about him made my skin crawl in a way I couldn't explain. Have you ever had a gut feeling about someone that nobody else believed? Drop a comment below, and if you want to see how this story ends, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't see what's coming next. Ryan Faulkner was the kind of man who looked perfect in family photos. He owned a construction company that was doing well, not rich, but comfortable. He showed up to family dinners with wine and compliments. He remembered birthdays. He called my dad sir and helped my mom clear the table. Everyone loved him instantly, except me. It started small. Little moments that felt off but sounded crazy when I tried to explain them. Like the time we were all at dinner and Chloe was telling a story about her job. Mid-sentence, Ryan put his hand on her arm and said, "Babe, nobody wants to hear about your coworker drama." She stopped talking immediately, laughed it off, changed the subject. Nobody else seemed to notice. Or the time he snapped at a waiter for bringing his drink with ice when he'd asked for no ice. It wasn't loud, it wasn't violent, but his voice went cold in a way that made the waiter's hands shake when he took the glass back. I noticed. But when I mentioned it to Mom later, she waved me off. He's just particular. Successful men have standards. The worst moment came 3 months before the engagement. I stopped by Chloe's apartment unannounced with takeout, something we used to do all the time. She answered the door in sweatpants, surprised but happy to see me. We were laughing in the kitchen when Ryan walked in. His smile froze when he saw me. "Didn't know we were having guests," he said. His voice was flat, empty. Chloe's whole body went stiff. "It's just Marissa. We were just... Next time, give me a heads up, yeah?" The air in the room changed. Chloe started apologizing, rambling, nervous apologies for something that didn't need an apology. I left 10 minutes later. That night, I tried calling her. She didn't answer. When she finally texted back, all she said was, "You're reading too much into things. Ryan's just protective." You know how men are. But I didn't know. And that's what scared me. The engagement party was everything Chloe had ever dreamed of. String lights in the backyard, a champagne tower, a a slideshow of photos showing Ryan and Chloe's love story set to some acoustic love song that made all the ants cry. I stood in the corner with a glass of wine I wasn't drinking, watching my sister glow under all that attention. 2 weeks later, I saw her at the mall. She was standing outside a boutique, staring at a dress in the window, this beautiful emerald green thing that would have looked stunning on her. "You should try it on," I said, walking up behind her. She jumped. Actually jumped, like I'd caught her doing something wrong. "Oh my God, Marissa, you scared me." "Sorry, but seriously, that dress is perfect for you." She looked at it again, biting her lip. Then she pulled out her phone. "I need to ask Ryan first." I blinked. "Ask him what?" "If he likes it. He's really good with fashion. He helps me pick out everything now." She typed out a message, attached a photo of the dress, and hit send. We stood there in silence, waiting. Her phone buzzed. She read it. Her face fell. "He says green washes me out." "Chloe, that's not—" "He's probably right. He has a good eye." She put her phone back in her purse, and that's when I saw it. The lock screen didn't ask for her passcode. It opened with a fingerprint, but not hers. "Why does Ryan's fingerprint unlock your phone?" She laughed, nervous, forced. "Oh, that. He set it up for safety, in case of emergencies." "Emergencies?" "Yeah, like if something happens to me, he can call for help." My stomach turned. "Chloe, that's not normal." Her smile disappeared. "You wouldn't understand. You've never had someone care about you like this." The words hit like a slap. She walked away before I could respond. I stood there holding my own phone and did something I'd been avoiding. I Googled, "boyfriend controls girlfriend's phone." The first result was an article about coercive control. Every single warning sign was there. 3 weeks before the wedding, I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I'd watched Chloe cancel lunch dates. I'd seen her lose weight she didn't need to lose. I'd heard her apologize for things that weren't her fault. And I'd spent enough years as a social worker to know exactly what I was looking at, so I sent her a message. Private. Just the two of us. "Chloe, I need to say this because I love you. I'm worried. You don't seem like yourself anymore. Ryan is controlling. The phone thing, the clothes, the way you apologize for everything. Love shouldn't feel like walking on eggshells. Please, just slow down. You don't have to marry him in 3 weeks. Take time to think." I hit send and stared at my screen. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, "I'll call you tomorrow, I promise." I went to bed that night thinking maybe, just maybe, I'd gotten through to her. I woke up to 34 missed calls. My heart stopped. I thought something terrible had happened. I called Mom back first. She answered on the first ring. Her voice was ice. "What the hell is wrong with you?" "What? Mom, what are—" "Ryan called us last night. He showed us the message you sent Chloe." My blood went cold. He found it before she did. He was devastated, Marissa. Devastated. He thought you supported them. "Mom, I was just trying to—" "You're jealous. That's what this is. Your little sister is getting married and you can't stand to see her happy." "That's not—" Dad's voice cut in. He was on speaker. "You've always had a negative outlook, Marissa. Always looking for problems that aren't there. This is Chloe's time. Don't ruin it." The line went dead. I sat there, phone in my hand, chest tight. Then my phone buzzed again. A text from Chloe. "Please don't come to the wedding. It's better for everyone this way." No explanation, no conversation, just erased. I stared at those words until they blurred. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I stayed quiet, like I always did. The day of Chloe's wedding, I called in sick to work. I couldn't face my clients. Couldn't pretend to have it together when my own family had just erased me like I never existed. I stayed in bed until noon. Then I made coffee I didn't drink. Then I sat on my couch and stared at the wall. My phone was on silent, but I could see it lighting up on the coffee table. Instagram notifications, Facebook tags, text messages from cousins I barely talked to, all at the wedding I wasn't invited to. I told myself I wouldn't look. I lasted until 4 p.m. I opened Instagram and there it was, my entire family, dressed up and smiling. The venue looked beautiful, white flowers everywhere, Chloe in her dress, looking like something out of a magazine. I swiped through the stories, Mom crying happy tears, Dad walking Chloe down the aisle, Aunt Linda holding up a champagne glass, my cousin Jessica recording the vows. In one photo, there was a display of family pictures near the entrance. I zoomed in. Every photo that used to have me in it had been cropped, cut out, edited. It was like I'd never existed. I set my phone down. My hands were shaking. My friend Jenna knocked on my door an hour later. She didn't say anything, just sat next to me while I cried. "They made me feel like I don't exist," I whispered. She squeezed my hand. "You do. And one day they're going to realize what they lost." I wanted to believe her. That night, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number, just a link. And 5 words. "You were right about him." I clicked it. And my entire world stopped. The video was only 43 seconds long, but those 43 seconds destroyed everything. It started beautifully. Chloe and Ryan on the dance floor, her white dress flowing as they swayed to their first dance. The guests were watching, phones out, recording their perfect moment. The camera was shaky, someone's aunt filming from the side. You could see Ryan lean in and whisper something to Chloe. She pulled back slightly, her smile fading. She said something back. The audio was muffled, but you could hear the tension. Ryan's jaw tightened. Then his hand came up fast. The slap echoed. Chloe stumbled backward, her hand flying to her cheek. Her eyes went wide. Shock, pain, humiliation all at once. The music cut off. Someone screamed. Ryan stood there for a second, his face twisted in anger. Then he turned and walked off the dance floor like nothing had happened. Guests rushed toward Chloe. She was shaking, crying, her perfect makeup running down her face. The video ended. I sat frozen on my couch, my phone in my hand, the screen still glowing. I watched it again, then again. My stomach turned. My chest felt hollow. I'd been right. I'd seen this coming. I'd tried to warn everyone, and they'd thrown me away for it. If you're still watching, drop a comment right now telling me what you would have done in Marissa's position. And hit that subscribe button, because what happens next is going to blow your mind. I checked the view count on the video. 12,000 views. Posted 20 minutes ago. I refreshed. 18,000. Refreshed again. 31,000. It was going viral. I opened Twitter. The video was already there, reposted dozens of times. The comments were brutal. "This man needs to be arrested. That poor woman, someone help her. How did nobody stop this?" I switched to Facebook. Someone had posted it in a local community group. Society wedding ends in assault. Groom Ryan Faulkner slaps bride during first dance. The comments were exploding. People were tagging Ryan's business page. His company's reviews were flooding with 1-star ratings. Then my phone started ringing. Mom, Dad, Aunt Linda, Cousin Jessica. I stared at the screen, watching their names flash over and over. They'd ignored me for 3 weeks, accused me of jealousy, cropped me out of family photos, and now they wanted to talk. I turned my phone off. I didn't owe them anything. Not anymore. I went to bed that night with my phone still off, the video still playing in my head. The next morning, I woke up to 73 missed calls, and 1 voicemail from my mother, her voice shaking. "Marissa, we saw the video. You were right." My parents called at 6 a.m. I'd barely slept. The video kept replaying in my head. The sound of the slap, Chloe's face, the way everyone just stood there. I almost didn't answer. But something in me, maybe the social worker part, maybe just the sister part, made me pick up. "Marissa, Mom's voice was shaking. We saw the video. Silence. I waited for the apology. The admission that they'd been wrong, that I'd been right all along. Instead, "You were right," not "I'm sorry," not "we should have listened," just "you were right," like I'd won some argument instead of watching my sister get assaulted at her own wedding. "Where's Chloe?" My voice came out flat. Dad's voice cut in. He was on speaker. "She's at a hotel downtown. The Marriott on 5th. She doesn't want to talk to anyone." "Anyone? Or just you?" Silence. "Marissa, please," Mom said. "She needs family right now." "She had family 3 weeks ago. You all chose Ryan over me." I heard Mom start to cry. Part of me felt guilty. The other part felt nothing. "What room?" I asked. 412. I hung up. 20 minutes later, I was in my car, driving across town in yesterday's clothes. I hadn't showered, hadn't eaten, didn't care. The hotel lobby was quiet. A few business travelers getting coffee. Nobody looked at me twice. I took the elevator to the 4th floor. Room 412 was at the end of the hall. I knocked softly. "Mom," I said, "I don't want to." The door opened. Chloe stood there in a hotel robe, her hair tangled, her face swollen from crying. Behind her, I could see the wedding dress hanging on the bathroom door. There was a long tear down one side. When she saw me, her face crumpled. "I didn't know who else to call," she whispered. I stepped inside and wrapped my arms around her. She collapsed into me, sobbing so hard her whole body shook. "I'm sorry," she kept saying. "I'm so sorry. You tried to tell me. You tried—" "Stop," I said quietly. "You don't need to apologize to me right now." We sat on the edge of the bed. She couldn't stop shaking. "He's been doing it for months," she finally said. "It started small, grabbing my arm too hard, calling me stupid when I forgot things. I thought it would stop after the wedding. I thought marriage would fix him." My heart broke all over again. "You can't fix someone like that, Chloe. I know that now." She looked at me, her eyes red and hollow. "What do I do?" For the first time in 3 weeks, someone was actually asking for my help. "You get out," I said, "and you never go back." By noon, the video had 2 million views. I sat with Chloe in her hotel room, watching her phone blow up with notifications she couldn't bring herself to read. The local news picked it up first. "Groom assaults bride during first dance at local wedding." Then the national outlets. "Viral video shows wedding turn violent." Ryan's construction company Facebook page was destroyed. The comment section looked like a war zone. "I will never hire this man." "Someone arrest him. This is disgusting." His business partner posted a statement trying to do damage control. "Ryan Faulkner's personal actions do not reflect the values of our company." It didn't matter. Clients were already canceling contracts. Employees were quitting. His reputation was finished. Chloe stared at her phone, scrolling through the comments with dead eyes. "Everyone's talking about me," she whispered. "They're talking about him," I corrected. "You didn't do anything wrong. I married him. I ignored every warning sign. I pushed you away. He manipulated you. That's what abusers do." She set her phone down and looked at me. "Mom called. She wants me to come home." "Do you want to?" She shook her head. "I can't face them yet. They're ashamed of me. They should be ashamed of themselves." A knock at the door made us both jump. I looked through the peephole. A woman in a police uniform stood in the hallway. I opened the door. "Chloe Dalton?" the officer asked. Chloe stood up, her face pale. "Yes?" "I'm Officer Martinez. A guest from your wedding filed a report this morning. We have the video as evidence. I need to ask you some questions about what happened." Chloe looked at me, terrified. I took her hand. "I'll stay with you." An hour later, we were at the police station. Chloe gave her statement, shaking, crying, but she got through it. Officer Martinez was gentle but direct. We're going to arrest him, but I need to tell you something else. Chloe looked up. You're not the first woman to report Ryan Faulkner. The room went cold. What? I said. Officer Martinez pulled out a file. We're investigating his past. There's a pattern here, and we think you might not be his only victim. Her name was Lauren Mitchell. 5 years ago, she'd been exactly where Chloe was now, young, in love, and convinced she could change him. Officer Martinez showed us the file 2 days after Chloe gave her statement. Lauren had pressed charges against Ryan for assault. There were photos, bruises on her arms, a split lip, fingerprints around her throat, but the charges were dropped. Why? Chloe asked, her voice barely a whisper. His family paid her $50,000. She signed an NDA and disappeared. I felt sick. So he just got away with it? Until now, Officer Martinez said. The video from your wedding is public. The NDA doesn't protect him anymore, and Lauren's willing to testify. Chloe stared at the file like it might bite her. Can I talk to her? Officer Martinez hesitated. I can ask. 3 days later, we met Lauren at a coffee shop across town. She was 32, blonde with kind eyes that looked tired. When she saw Chloe, she didn't say anything at first, just reached across the table and squeezed her hand. I'm sorry, Lauren said quietly. I should have fought harder. Maybe if I had, you wouldn't be here. Chloe shook her head, tears streaming down her face. It's not your fault. It's not yours either. Lauren told us everything. How Ryan had been charming at first. How the control started slowly, checking her phone, isolating her from friends, telling her what to wear. How the violence came later, always behind closed doors where no one could see. I tried to leave twice, Lauren said. Both times he found me, convinced me he'd changed. The third time, he put me in the hospital. That's when you pressed charges? I asked. She nodded. His parents showed up at my apartment with a lawyer and a check. They said if I didn't take it, they'd destroy me in court, make me look crazy. So you took it. I was 27 and terrified. I thought $50,000 could buy me a new life somewhere he'd never find me. She looked at Chloe. But it didn't buy me peace. I've spent 5 years wondering if he was hurting someone else, and now I know he was. Chloe's hands were shaking. Did anyone in his family know about what he did to you? Lauren's face went dark. His mother knew everything. She's the one who wrote the check. I confronted my mother the next day. I didn't call first. I just showed up at my parents' house and walked in like I still lived there. Mom was in the kitchen, making tea she probably wouldn't drink. She looked up when she heard me, her face pale. Marissa, did you know? She froze. Know what? About Ryan, about what he did to his ex-girlfriend. The silence told me everything. Mom, did you know? She set the teacup down, her hands shaking. It's not what you think. Then tell me what it is. She sat down at the kitchen table, suddenly looking 10 years older. At the engagement party, a woman came up to me. She said her name was Lauren. She told me Ryan had hurt her, that he'd been arrested. My blood went cold. And you said nothing? I asked Ryan about it. Mom's voice cracked. He said it was all a misunderstanding, that she was unstable and trying to ruin his life. He showed me text messages where she was begging him to take her back. He said she made the whole thing up because he rejected her. And you believed him. Chloe was so happy, Marissa. I'd never seen her like that. And Ryan seemed so genuine. I thought, you thought what? That it was worth the risk? Tears started rolling down her face. I thought he'd changed. People can change. Not people like him. Dad walked in then, his face hard. That's enough, Marissa. I turned on him. You knew too, didn't you? He didn't answer. You both knew Ryan had a history of violence, and you let Chloe marry him anyway. You didn't just ignore me. You put her in danger to prove I was wrong. We made a mistake, Dad said quietly. A mistake? Chloe got assaulted at her own wedding in front of 200 people. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. Mom was sobbing now. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Tell that to Chloe, not me. I walked toward the door. Marissa, wait. I need space from both of you, indefinitely. I left before they could respond. I sat in my car for 10 minutes, hands gripping the steering wheel, trying to breathe. My phone buzzed, an email notification. Subject line, "You think you know everything?" I opened it, and everything I thought I knew shattered. I opened the email at 2 a.m., sitting in my dark living room with a glass of wine I wasn't drinking. The sender was a burner account. No name, no profile picture, just a string of random numbers and letters. The message was short. You think you know everything, don't you? You think Ryan's the only one to blame? Ask your sister why she really married him. Below it was an attachment. My hand hovered over the screen. Part of me didn't want to open it, didn't want to know what else could possibly be hiding under all this pain. But I clicked it anyway. Screenshots. Text messages between Chloe and Ryan. Dated 8 months ago, 2 months before the engagement. I scrolled through them, my heart pounding. Ryan, I need to tell you something. About my ex, Chloe. What about her? Ryan, she's saying things online. About me. Lies. Chloe. What kind of lies? Ryan, she's claiming I hurt her, that I was arrested. It's all bullshit. She's trying to ruin my life because I broke up with her. Chloe, were you arrested? A pause. Then, Ryan, technically, yes, but the charges were dropped because they were fake. She made the whole thing up. My lawyer proved it. Chloe, Ryan, this is serious. Ryan, I know. That's why I'm telling you. I don't want you hearing it from someone else and thinking I lied. I'm being honest with you because I love you. I kept scrolling. Chloe, I looked it up. There are court records. Ryan, because she filed a false report. Baby, please, you know me. Do I seem like someone who would hurt a woman? Chloe, no, you don't. Ryan, everyone deserves a second chance, even when they didn't do anything wrong. Then, the message that made my stomach drop. Chloe, I believe you. I love you. We'll get through this together. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. She knew. Chloe knew about Lauren. She knew Ryan had been arrested. She knew there were court records, and she married him anyway. I scrolled further. More messages. Chloe asking questions. Ryan giving answers that sounded just believable enough. Chloe convincing herself that love could fix him. Chloe, my family's going to ask questions. Ryan, then don't tell them. It's nobody's business but ours. Chloe, what if Marissa finds out? She'll try to stop the wedding. Ryan, then we don't let her. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. My sister hadn't just ignored the red flags. She'd hidden them from everyone, including me. I grabbed my keys and drove to her hotel. It was 3 a.m., but I didn't care. I needed answers. Chloe answered the door in pajamas, her eyes half closed. Marissa, what? I pushed past her into the room and threw my phone on the bed, the screenshot still open. Explain this. She looked at the screen. Her face went white. Where did you get those? Does it matter? You knew, Chloe. You knew about Lauren. You knew Ryan had been arrested, and you married him anyway. She backed away from me, shaking her head. It's not what it looks like. Then what is it? Because it looks like you lied to everyone. You let us all think Ryan was some perfect guy when you knew he had a history of violence. He told me it was all a misunderstanding. And you believed him? Yes, her voice cracked. I believed him because I loved him, because he was good to me, because I thought... You thought what? That you could fix him? She sat down on the bed, her hands covering her face. I thought I was different. I thought if I loved him enough, he wouldn't hurt me the way he hurt her. I stared at her, my chest tight with anger and heartbreak. Do you know what you did? You didn't just put yourself in danger. You made me look crazy. You let Mom and Dad destroy me for trying to protect you when you knew I was right the whole time. I'm sorry. She was crying now, her whole body shaking. I'm so sorry, Marissa. I was scared. Scared that if I told anyone, they'd make me leave him, and I wasn't ready. So you threw me under the bus instead. I didn't mean to. You uninvited me from your wedding. You let them crop me out of family photos. You chose him over me, knowing he was dangerous. She looked up at me, mascara running down her face. I know, and I hate myself for it. Silence filled the room. I wanted to yell, to scream, to make her feel even a fraction of the pain I'd felt. But looking at her, broken, ashamed, still wearing the bruises from her wedding night, I just felt empty. Why didn't you tell me? I asked quietly. Because you would have tried to stop me, and I didn't want to be stopped. Even if it meant getting hurt? She nodded, fresh tears falling. I thought love was supposed to be hard. That fighting for someone meant staying even when it hurt. I didn't realize I was just making excuses for abuse. I sat down next to her. Chloe, you're a victim, but you also made choices that hurt people, hurt me. I know. I need time to process this, to figure out if I can forgive you. She nodded, not looking at me. I stood up and walked to the door. Marissa? I turned. Thank you for coming to get me that night, even after everything. I didn't respond. I just left. I spent 2 days trying to figure out who sent that email. The account was untraceable, a burner created just to send me those screenshots, then abandoned. But someone had access to Chloe's private messages. Someone who wanted me to know the truth. I called Lauren first. Did you send me an email? Screenshots of texts between Chloe and Ryan? No, she said, confused. I don't have access to any of that. Why? I thanked her and hung up. Then I remembered something Officer Martinez had mentioned. Ryan's business partner had been cooperating with the investigation. His name was Derek Chen. I found him on LinkedIn, sent him a message. He responded within an hour. We should talk, in person. We met at a coffee shop downtown. Derek was in his 30s, tired looking, with the kind of guilt written all over his face that told me everything before he even spoke. You sent the email, I said. He nodded. I'm sorry for doing it anonymously. I didn't know how else to get it to you. How did you get those messages? Ryan's phone syncs to his laptop. He left it open at the office one day. I saw the texts by accident when I was looking for a contract file. And you didn't say anything? His face fell. I should have. I know that now. But Ryan was my business partner, my friend. I kept telling myself it wasn't my place. When did you change your mind? The night of the wedding. I was there. I saw what he did to her. His voice cracked. I watched him slap her in front of everyone, and I realized I could have prevented this if I'd just spoken up. He looked at me, his eyes red. I heard them arguing the week before the wedding. Chloe said she wanted to call it off. Ryan told her, "You knew who I was when you said yes." That's when I knew she'd been hiding it too. So you sent me the proof. I thought you deserved to know the whole truth, not just Ryan's part. Hers too. I didn't know whether to thank him or hate him. You should have said something sooner. I know, and I'll regret that for the rest of my life. 3 months later, Chloe did something I never expected. She agreed to a televised interview. The producer reached out to her after the video hit 10 million views. They wanted to do a segment on domestic violence, how it hides behind perfect relationships, how families miss the signs. Chloe called me the night before the taping. I'm going to tell them everything, she said, about Ryan's past. about the fact that I knew, about how I ignored it. Are you sure you're ready for that? No, but I need to do it anyway. The interview aired on a Thursday night. I watched from my apartment, my stomach in knots. Chloe sat across from the host, her hands folded in her lap, her voice steady but quiet. I want to be clear about something, she said. I'm a victim of domestic violence, but I also made choices that put me in danger, and I need to own that. The host leaned forward. What do you mean? Before I got engaged, I found out my fiancé had been arrested for assaulting his ex-girlfriend. I saw the court records. I knew the charges had been dropped because his family paid her off. The host's eyes widened. And you still married him? I convinced myself he'd changed, that I could love him enough to fix him. And when my sister tried to warn me, I pushed her away. I let my family punish her for telling the truth I didn't want to hear. She looked directly at the camera. Marissa, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. You saw what I refused to see. And I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make that right. I felt tears running down my face. The interview continued. Chloe talked about the warning signs she ignored, the control, the isolation, the moment on the dance floor when everything fell apart. The video humiliated me, she said, but it also saved my life, because if it hadn't gone viral, I might have gone back to him. I might have believed him when he said he was sorry. 2 weeks later, Ryan was sentenced. 18 months for assault, a restraining order, mandatory anger management that everyone knew wouldn't change anything. His parents sat in the courtroom, stone-faced. His mother didn't look at Chloe once. When it was over, Chloe walked out of that courthouse with her head high. I was waiting outside. She saw me and stopped. You came. Of course I came. We didn't hug, didn't cry, just stood there for a moment, two sisters who'd survived something that should have destroyed them. I'm proud of you, I said quietly. She nodded, tears in her eyes. I'm trying to be someone you can be proud of. You're getting there. 1 year after the wedding that wasn't, Chloe and I sat on my porch at sunrise, drinking coffee in comfortable silence. A lot had changed in 12 months. Chloe had been in therapy every week. She'd started volunteering at a women's shelter, sharing her story with women who were still trapped in the cycle she'd escaped. She'd rebuilt herself piece by piece. Ryan had tried to contact her twice from prison. She never responded. Our parents had apologized. Really apologized this time. But forgiveness didn't come easy. I'd set boundaries they were still learning to respect. Family dinners happened occasionally now, but on my terms, not theirs. The viral video that destroyed Chloe's wedding had become something else entirely. Women across the country shared it, tagged friends who needed to see it, used it as proof that abuse doesn't always hide in the shadows. Sometimes it happens in front of 200 witnesses who don't know what to do. Chloe set her coffee down and looked at me. You know what's weird? She said quietly. What? When the news aired that night, part of me was glad you weren't there. I turned to her. Why? Because if you had been, she said, her eyes glassy, you would have tried to protect me, and I think he would have hurt you too. The weight of that truth hung between us. We both got hurt that day, I said finally. Just in different ways, she nodded. But at least we're still here. A car pulled up to the shelter across the street. A woman got out holding a small suitcase, looking terrified and determined all at once. Chloe stood up. That's my cue, new resident arriving. She paused at the door and looked back at me. Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I gave up on myself. That's what sisters do. She smiled, a real smile this time. Not the forced one from before, not the broken one from the hotel room. A smile that said she was healing. I watched her walk across the street to meet the woman, to offer her the same second chance at life that she'd been given. And I realized something. This wasn't a revenge story. It never was. It was a survival story. about two sisters who learned that family isn't about pretending everything's perfect. It's about surviving what isn't, together. If this story touched you, please share it. You never know who needs to hear it. Someone in your life might be seeing red flags they're too scared to acknowledge. Someone might need permission to walk away. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because every week we're sharing stories that matter. Stories about betrayal, survival, and finding your voice when everyone else tries to silence it. Drop a comment and tell me, what's the biggest lesson you're taking from Marissa and Chloe's story? I read every single one. Thank you for being here. And remember, your peace matters more than anyone's comfort.